Thank the Titans you are here. The Storm Curse has been breached, and the Storm Riders corrupted.
Dodge.
Bounding Void. Entropy Shield.
Dodge.
Bounding Void.
What is that odor? It's radiating dark energy. While you go to the roosts, I will distract them here. We can link up later.
Lightning Surge.
3,
Lightning.
2, 1. AoE.
Localized Storm. Wild Lightning.
3, 2.
Yes. Feed.
Affix.
All of you. Feed on the void. Let its darkness fill you.
Lightning Surge. Lightning Surge. Lightning Surge. Wild Lightning.
3,
Mortal.
2, 1.
Scrubbing
Affix.
after any shred
AoE.
of
Localized
control.
Storm. Wild Lightning.
Three, 2, 1. AoE.
Localized Storm. Lightning Surge.
Yes. Feed.
Affix.
All of you. Feed on the void. Let its darkness fill you.
Spread. Crashing Thunder. Wild Lightning.
Beam.
Lightning dash. Spread. Crashing thunder. Wild lightning. Spread. Crashing thunder.
Scrabbling
Apex.
after
Wild
any
lightning.
shred of control.
Lightning torrent.
Beam.
Attracting shadows.
Dot.
Arcing void.
3, 2, 1. Dot.
Attracting shadows.
Mortals. Scrabbling
Apex.
after any shred of control.
I do not have a target.
Drop. Three, 2, 1. Dot.
Attracting shadows.
3,
Arcing
2,
void.
1.
Attracting shadow crush. Arcing void. Spread. Seeping corruption.
Three, 2, 1. 3 dot.
Attracting
2,
shadows.
1
Void crush.
dot.
Attracting shadows. Void crush.
Mortals. Scrabbling
Apex.
after any shred of
Arcing void.
3, 2, 1.
Void crush.
I need to target something first.
Void crush.
3, 2, 1 dot.
Attracting shadow corruption. Arcing void.
Dot.
Attracting shadow corruption. Arcing void.
Spread. 3, 2,
Arcing void.
1. 3. Dot 2.
Attracting shadows.
1. Dot.
Attracting shadows.
Affix.
Arcing void.
Feed on the void.
3,
Let its
2,
darkness fill
1.
you.
Dot.
Attracting shadows.
Max, I'm gonna blow up.
Blue Beast Boulder Bag, Arizona State curling champion.
That's the up, and I give this 5 big booms. Boom! Boom! Boom!
Chaotic corruption.
Boom!
Crush reality.
Boom!
Monster Cat, drink me up.
Captain
Chaotic
Atlas,
corruption.
ship it and clip it. I am Goop.
Ronnie 62,
Chaotic
ready to sail away.
Frosty Ips, blow up.
Chaotic corruption.
from Bikini Bottom College, and I'm ready to cook. If you want to hang out with us for next race, download Coinbase for a chance to win.
All right, welcome back from that nice dinner break. We are going to be seeing some more Mythic Gallywix progression, and it's going to be very interesting. I had a chance to kind of catch up with some of the raiders during that dinner, and they think there's a chance that it dies tonight.
So you're saying there's a
Chaotic
chance,
corruption.
huh?
Yeah, so I caught up with THD, kind of asked him what his thoughts on the boss were. He said that he thought it was easy. And frankly, he said that after they come out of that second intermission that we've seen twice, they'll know what the damage check looks like. But assuming if that damage check is easy, he said that there is a chance that it ends up dying tonight. I'm joined by Dash and Kalamazi. How are you guys feeling about this progression that we've actually seen from Mythic Gallywix thus far?
We're back. We're all pizzaed up,
Oh yeah.
and I'm feeling pretty good after that. We're ready to go. Yeah, we can be lethargic on the couch. Hopefully they're not lethargic over there at their computers. But no, I mean, I'm feeling good about it. I think I do. I will. I obviously don't know. Or
Nobody does.
Don't think the way that THD thinks, for example.
Chaotic
I
corruption.
don't think the boss. I think I agree. The boss feels killable from what we've seen, right? So from what we've seen, the boss feels killable tonight. I don't think it dies tonight. But I was saying to you just before we went live, I would be
Crush
as
reality.
surprised if the boss is still alive on Monday.
Okay.
As if the boss died tonight. I think the real kill window is tomorrow for these two guilds.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it probably
Chaotic
dies tomorrow
corruption.
afternoon for us. Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, unless there's some like crazy DPS check we haven't
Chaotic
seen or
corruption.
something of that sort, like how Muggsy was, right?
Okay.
Where, oh yeah, we're at 30%. This boss is gonna die. Then it's just turbo nuclear hell at the last 20%.
Right.
But I don't know if it's gonna be that way. Like we talked about, it's really difficult.
I think end bosses tend to have this thing where the mechanics check is normally pretty hard. The guilds will spend a decent amount of time actually looking to progress the mechanics of the fight, and there's going to be some DPS check that matters. We saw this on Queen Ansarek where the damage check was actually pretty tough to the point where we were talking about potential nerfs on that fight as well. But I think that this fight, the mechanics have been seeming so far to be a little bit easier than most people anticipate for a final boss, but the damage check could be as difficult as it has been. I heard a rumor that there was also a hot fix nerf of 7% off the boss's HP like 2 or 3 days ago. So prior to Mythic Gallywix actually being pulled, so Blizzard has constantly been looking to tune the boss itself. And so,
Number crunch.
yeah, they did some number crunching. The boss's health might have been a little bit high, and I think if they were hitting the boss with a 7% HP nerf, I think that this damage check might be the real end boss here.
Yeah.
That it feels darker.
Void crush.
I mean, it's exciting stuff, man. I don't know how I've gotten so lucky that I was here for Queen Ansarek Prague last time around, and then I'm back again for more Final
Yeah.
Prague. I've gotten very, very lucky, and it is such a treat to be here. Watching these guys do what they do best. I think the reality is, like, I always trust that damage will be found by these raiders, right? Like, I do find myself race over race watching a boss fight and going like, there's no way.
There is no way.
Right? Like, there's no way.
That was yesterday.
Right? I'm
literally.
like, there's no way. And then you fast forward 24 hours, they found out like nothing's changed. They found the damage, they kill the boss, they clean it up. And that's where I would lean into like what THD is saying, right? If he feels like, to your point, that the mechanics of the boss are not so difficult,
Precisely.
that with they're not even in triple digit pulls yet, y'all. We're not even in triple digit pulls. Once they get those reps in, the damage is just going to start being there. I'll remind everybody, our best percentage pull is not the furthest we've seen into the fight, right? And so that's an example of how much more damage can be found if we just start doing things correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Nexus Princess Kaveza is kind of an interesting example of that, where the mechanics of that fight weren't exactly hard, and they probably saw to the end range around, you know, pull 85 or something like that, and then it was a bunch of pulls of trying to optimize how much damage you're going to be able to eke out. This fight, you know, there is some mechanical complexity. The players are going to have to carry the Giga-Juiced bombs. They're also going to have to carry those bomb clamps and make sure they don't blow up the raid whenever they are carrying those. And so there is some mechanical complexity, especially with the pass-fail on this fight. I think the big portion of this fight is going to be a damage check, but there's also this kind of question, is there a secret phase looming over all of us? I mean, Kalamazi, what are you thinking?
I'm honestly, at this point, I'm leaning towards no.
Okay.
I think that it'd be very cool if there was. I don't want to be a downer, but I'm leaning towards no. We're at the 7.5 minute mark, roughly around 28%, give or take. I don't think there's going to be.
I kind of think this is the boss.
Yeah. Hey, you're running out of time, or we're going to 15.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with that too, yeah. Keeping it
I'll be here until Wednesday.
A 10 or 11 minute kill time, if that's what they want for most bosses, I think this is probably the boss. But, like, I mean, it is still very different early, right? So this fight does feel like it's pretty much, like, it hasn't been seen before, right? And, like, the fight literally, when it begins, it's just 0 to 100. Like, that mech slams down, DPS check is there, and like we've seen some of these mechanical overlaps in Heroic, but not like we had with those 4 TikTok canisters, those 2 raid soaks, right?
I was kind of talking to some players also at dinner, and they were sharing a similar sentiment of they actually like that the fight has been designed like this, where they don't actually see much out of the dungeon journal. They don't really know a lot of the mechanics going into the fight. The fight wasn't tested during the PTR, and they were saying that they wish that every boss would be kind of like that. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes, yeah, that's all I need to hear. If the Raiders themselves are for it, like that should be Blizzard's like stamp to just move forward with this type of raid design, because yeah, for me, like that's the fun of this type of game, right? It's the problem solving. And even as a spectator, like both as a player, 100%, I like the problem-solving element, and maybe one of the bummers sometimes of being as far down on the cutting-edge list as I am. It's a lot of times you're just copying, right? You're just looking at the people who did it ahead of you, and you're going, okay, here's a guild that killed it about a week or 2 ahead of us. This is the strategy they were using for the boss.
Exactly.
Blah blah. The fun of figuring a boss fight out, and the fun of watching a raider, a team of 20 raiders and then some, right, with support staff behind them, come in and tackle a problem, like that is so fun to watch, and I think we're seeing it a bit on Chrome King, and at the end of the day, I think Blizzard will get better at designing fights that way if they keep designing fights that way, right? Like that's pretty obvious.
I do think that WoW has this thing where they actually need a lot of the fights tested beforehand on the PTR, just to make sure that they have, there's no major bugs, no major issues, and even still, sometimes there are some bugs that make fights problematic, even with them being tested. And I think that that's probably the biggest concern from a lot of players, where it's just like, is this fight going to be buggy? Is there going to be problems on this fight?
I think then you get to a place you go, okay, is there a way that we can test? This is opening a whole can of worms. So, like, can we test things internally? I know that nobody in Blizzard is putting a 20-man raid team together that's nearly as good.
That wouldn't happen, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So like, but like, even if you can test mechanics internally for bugs without numbers, right? If that makes sense, right? Like, we don't need to put in a 20 million DPS damage check for our internal QA testers, but we can have them test the actual mechanic itself for bugs. Again, I'm not saying it'll be a perfect system or anything like that, but I definitely would like to see more and more of the raid go that direction. Maybe there's a happy middle ground where we test the first 4, but don't test the last 4. We can use the first 4 for some numbers calculations. I mean, again, we go back to the whole Rigel on Lords of Dread, Jailer,
They didn't test those 3.
They didn't test those 3, and like I said, I love those as a spectator. Maybe that was a frustrating tier as a raider. I don't know.
Dare I say the greatest race world first of all time? Really to say.
That was when he get paid. That said, he wanted an 85-day race.
No, dude, I think as a viewer, that race was sick.
It was amazing.
People talk about Boston like I think people have like there's like a negative connotation around Boston. Oh, Boston. Like, for us, it wasn't a race world first. But honestly, like, it was probably my favorite race we've ever done. Like, from a caster standpoint, not people there, but it's like the environment. It was like trauma bonding, like mutual commiseration. But it was like, man, it's just fun. People are just gaming. And towards the end, it got a little rough. But a long race is fun. Like you said, I mean, you had Halandris, Anduin, Rygalon, and Jailer were all fantastic fights to watch from a viewer perspective.
That was an 11 boss raid?
It was an 11 boss raid.
That's the other thing, like, you literally just removed 3 of the bosses from that raid.
Yeah.
Like even the early bosses that were, you know, like pushovers.
Right.
You still take like a day out of the prog, even if you remove like the first 3 bosses.
Prototype Pantheon and Lehuven were both like half-day fights by themselves too. That was a wild tier.
So like, there's probably a way to, I don't know. Like,
I think Emirja still had something that was really cool that's not really commonly seen. Is like both Liquid and Echo were both pulling the final boss and Fire Rack at the exact same time as one another, and both had like sub 5% wipes. That was crazy.
That was like echoing back to Denathrius, Castle Denathrius actually. When I think it was you, myself, and Jet that were casting their kill.
I think so, yeah.
And like one of us would be talking, we just like locked. We just like would shut down. Looking at a monitor too. Like they were pulling Denathrius side by side. That's really cool. Yeah, like. Both guilds had a chance to kill that fight before they actually did, being Fire Rack, but ended up the way it was. So, I do have a question about this fight being what we assume is like relatively low pull count. Do you think that it could be wrong? It could be a 200 pull fight if we see like the final phase and it's just nuclear. Do you think this fight, if it is 120, 130 pulls, do you think it favors Echo more or Liquid than both being the spot they are?
120, 130.
Right, because like we have this year.
Hey, it's better for Echo.
I think so too.
Yeah. But again, okay, 120, 130 Liquid pulls. Because if Liquid's killing it in 120 to 130, Echo's killing it in less. I would argue.
That's